Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Book Talks with Yo. My name is Yoanna and today we are talking all about writing short stories. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I write exclusively prose, and more precisely, I work on novels. But one of my writing goals for this year is to try and experiment more with different mediums and different genres, and I decided to try my hand at writing short stories. I think it will be a fun and exciting experiment, but more about this later in this video. First, let's talk about what short stories are, how we should write them, and just some tips that I will try to follow during my writing experiment. So, what is a short story? Well, a short story is a short piece of fiction where you can usually read them at one sitting and you have a self-contained incident or a few linked incidents with the intent of evoking a particular mood or setting. Or in other words, a short story is when you have one main plot event around which you center your story. And it is typically between 5,000 and 7,000 words, but it can pretty much be anything after 1,000 words. Now that we've established what a short story is, the next question is, why write a short story? Well, as I said, it might be a very fun writing exercise that will help you get out of a writing slump if you're in one, or if you just need a break from something longer or larger that you're working on. If you've just finished writing a novel, maybe you just need a break before you go on your next adventure. So a short story is ideal for this, and can also help you explore your writing, your style, your technique, and find your writer's voice, which is something I talked about in one of my previous videos. But as well as that, it can really inspire you, give you ideas for stories and characters that you might later end up turning into something bigger, maybe a novel. Now that this is out of our way as well, let's move on to some tips and tricks for writing a short story. And one of the first things that I found as an advice when I was researching short stories is that you have to keep it simple. What that means is not to make it basic or trivial. What it means is rather to simply keep it shorter, keep it simpler, and not overcomplicate it with too many plot twists and too many plot threads to follow. Because while this is advisable in a novel to have a bit of plot twists here and there, to have a few subplots, a short story is, well, it's shorter, and therefore if you have too many plot threads, your readers will be confused, they might feel overwhelmed, and you'll just feel too dense and too packed, which is not what you want, because your readers might not want to go and experience this exactly. So keep it simple, know your characters, know your event, know your conflict, and translate this into the page coherently. And I really hope I remember this advice when I have to write my short story. The next advice I saw almost everywhere is to start at the pivotal point of your story. And I know that this applies to novels as well, but I feel like with short stories it's even more important to grab your reader's attention right from the start and just make sure that they're invested enough in the story to continue reading. So what this means is, don't spend too much time setting the scene, don't overcomplicate things with too much world building, as this is a sure way to lose half of your readers, which is not what we want, obviously. So just start at some exciting moment in the middle of the action, set the stakes high, set the tension, set conflict, and just make sure that your reader will be engaged right from the start. They will be hooked and they will want to learn more. Or, as many people say, don't describe the action, just go on with it. Next common advice is to avoid long chunks of description. As we've established, what we are writing is shorter than a novel, so naturally we don't really have space for long descriptions, as we still need to keep it short, but we need to tell a story with a beginning, with an inciting incident, with rising action, with climax, with resolution, and obviously, if you include too much description, you won't have time to explore all of those, which are essential components of your story. So just give enough description so your reader know what is happening, but leave the rest to their imagination. Just trust your readers to imagine the rest of the things, which honestly is ideal for me. That works perfectly for me because I hate writing descriptions. I really struggle with describing things. So yeah, that advice works for me perfectly. And another thing that people say is that if you want to include flashbacks and memories, you shouldn't do them elaborately. You should only suggest them. As I said, we don't really have the space for this. And the last advice is something that applies to all types of writing, and this is to read a lot. So read a lot of short stories. Read famous authors' short stories and see what is working for them and what is not working for them, and how different authors are playing around with this medium of writing. There are a lot of short story collections that you can read online or buy, so just go, see what you like, see something that you'll be interested in, and give it a go. I will sure use this advice in my writing experience, as I've been wanting to read more short story collections anyways. And now let's move on to the writing experiment that I mentioned at the beginning. So I decided to challenge myself to write a short story in a week. So starting today, which is Wednesday, but you'll see this video on Friday, I will be spending my week writing a short story, and I will update the vlog with my thoughts and my experience with this experiment next Friday. But I decided to just spice things up, and I want to use a random plot generator that will give me my characters, the scene, the setting, the theme. This plot generator will give me all the things, all the prompts I need to create a story. So I'm I'm excited, but I'm a little bit nervous about this as well, because I have no idea what will pop up in this random generator. So let's just go and see what happens. Here I go. I am a bit nervous, not gonna lie. I have no idea what this random plot generator will do and when I'll be able to write something with those random things. But there's only one way to find out, so let's just go. So, our main character is a man in his late 40s who is very judgmental, okay? Our second character is a woman in her late 30s who is very anxious. Oh, I already know how the dynamic can work here. The setting is, the story begins in a psychiatric hospital, okay? Do I want to change the setting? Okay, let's just see the rest of them and then we'll decide. The situation is a wedding anniversary is forgotten. Okay. The theme is it's a story about greed, and the character action is your character has to make some difficult compromises in order to succeed. Now, with this plot generator, we can change certain aspects of it, so I will cheat a little bit. Well, I'm not cheating because the rules are mine, but I will cheat a little bit and change something. But the rule will be that I can only change one thing. So let's see, I don't want to change my characters. I already have an idea of how the dynamic can work. Let's see, do I want the story to begin in a psychiatric hospital? Not really. Not really. A wedding anniversary is forgotten. I can work with this. A story about greed. Yeah. And your character has to make... I think I'll just change the setting. Okay, let's see. The story begins at an airport. We have a judgmental, anxious airport. A wedding anniversary is forgotten is a story about greed. Okay, I think I have an idea, so I think I can work with this. But as I said, I want to spice things up a bit more. I'll use another plot generator just to see what pop-ups there. I wanted to use two, so see what happens, what different story ideas can pop up with those, and see whether I can combine them or use certain aspects of both, or just let's see what happens. We will choose a, we want it to be romance, but we want it to be random, I think. Okay, I have to choose, okay, now. A romance. The protagonist is a bartender who is past prime. The secondary character is a bodyguard who has a poker face, okay? The plot: it's a contemporary romance short story, story about how beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It kicks off near a car park with the sentence, "I'm learning about important dates in history. Want to be one of them?" Note that someone in the story is in denial about something important, and there is a twist. There are two rejected proposals. This actually has some touching points with my the other plot generator. If it's a wedding anniversary forgotten between those two people, the man in his late 40s and the woman in her late 30s, I might include the bartender. The guy might be a bartender who is past prime, although 40 is not past prime. Or I might include one of those characters as a character in the story, where I will keep the man and the woman the main characters and then include the bartender and the bodyguard secondary characters. Although it is a short story, so you shouldn't really complicate things. But yeah, this is pretty much what I got. I might use some certain points from this, but I will mainly work with that thing. So yeah, now all that is left is for me to write this thing. So yeah, wish me luck. Okay, now we have everything we need, and all that is left to do is for me to start writing, and hopefully I will come up with something interesting. But as I said, I will vlog myself writing this story and share everything with you next Friday. So yeah, that is me going to write my story. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on my new videos. Please let me know down in the comments, do you write short stories, and what are some of your favorite short story authors or collections? Thank you once more for watching, and I really hope to see you all next time. Until then, have a smiley week. Bye!